Hey, it's 3 Days Grace. We just wanted to say thanks to Nikki Sixx and to Jen for having us on 6 Cents tonight. And this is the first ever 6 Cents exclusive Canadian Ask Us Anything chat. So thanks to the fans for all the questions, and we're going to go ahead and answer some.
Zach from Calgary. What is it like making Human with the band dynamic? Did it take long to adjust, or did it just come quickly and naturally? I'd say that it just came naturally, you know, me stepping in anyway, because we've just been family forever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, we've collaborated a lot in the past, and you know, on 3 Days Grace, actually, Matt had co-written on the first album and Transit of Venus as well, and then a lot on this album too. So, you know, it's a really natural thing. We've always been a really collaborative band, and we write lyrics and melody and music together. And just the fact that we were on tour already, with Shine Down co-headliner tour, and writing on the road and everything, it was really just a natural progression of what we've always sort of done. Alex from Missoula, what's your favorite thing to eat when you're on the road? I'm a steak and potatoes guy. I could, I mean, I don't, but I could eat steak every day.
I like soup and hamburgers.
And bananas.
And bananas and panic.
Yeah, Matt's on a bananas and panic diet from time to time. Isabella from Regina, what is each of your favorite songs off the new album? For myself, I think it's Human Race. It you know, it has sort of a big message, and it's kind of against the grain in terms of the arrangement. And I love how the song came about. You know, we wrote it on the bus at like 7 in the morning after not going to bed and being in rush hour traffic where people are yelling at each other and honking their horns and giving each other the finger. And somebody said, you know, don't you just get sick of running this race, like the human race itself? And that's where that song was born.
I like I Am Machine. I think it's just a heavy punch to the face. And So What is a really energetic song. It's just makes everybody want to go crazy, so those are my two favorite.
Lauren from Lincoln, what was the inspiration behind the lyrics for Fallen Angel? Actually, Fallen Angel is a pretty personal song for me. You know, we basically, you know, we wrote it all together as a group, but you know, the band kind of allowed me to channel something that I had gone through when I was younger and just kind of had to get out. You know, I was really young, and I lost a couple people in my family in the same year, and I was too young to understand like the gravity of the situation at the time. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I just realized like how heavy of the situation, you know, that experience was, and just how much like terrible stuff my mother had gone through in that, and all the while kind of kept a strong face and stuff like that. So Fallen Angel is really just talking about that part of my life that I felt like I just needed to get out.
Jackie from Kelowna, what is the most memorable gift you guys have gotten from a fan? Well, mine has to be the doll that looked exactly like me I got in Russia. The thing was like, it looked exactly like me. It freaked everybody out. And I'd take it around and had a different voice for it, and yeah, I named it Jimmy. So that's my favorite.
I think what freaked us out is how you like fell in love with it.
And I'd pet it.
Yeah, and now you have a road case for it.
Little man.
Kind of freaky. Zane from Prince George, what's the message or concept of Human? Is it a personal perspective on what it's like to be human? Yes, it is actually. I think, you know, with any 3 Days Grace song, it's a personal reflection of our lives, the things that we go through in everyday life, and the lives of people around us. You know, we've always written about just, you know, struggles that we experience, and just life in itself. And I think, you know, the album has a really common thread going through it that sort of just describes the beauty and the wonder and the horrors and the difficulties of being a human being in 2015, you know. And it's a very relatable album because we're writing about things that everybody goes through. And that's always been a powerful connection between 3 Days Grace and our fans, is you know, staying true to ourselves with writing about real experiences, and I think that people can see that and can really relate it back to their own lives, which is a very powerful thing in music. And I think we really captured that on this album.
Ricky from Chino Hills, are you guys considering making a 6th album in the future? I don't think we'll ever stop making albums.
No.
So yeah, we are considering it.
We're already kind of like, we're sort of workaholics. I mean, we have a little studio set up on the bus, and we just, our passion lies in just like creating things, you know what I mean? And we have a lot of spare time when we're on the road, so we're actually already sort of on our way. I mean,
and there's a bunch of songs we didn't use on the last record that could be still salvageable.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, it's like we do a lot of jamming, just like sound checks and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, making music is our passion, so absolutely there will be another record. Mike from Fort St. John. What was the craziest thing to happen to you on stage? I think for me that would probably be when I fell off the back of the stage. The stage is already about 5 feet, and then my riser was another 4 feet. So it was a 9-foot fall on my head, and it wasn't cool. It hurt, but we'd finished the show. This was a while ago. It was all kind of a blur. I think there's a reason why I fell off the stage in the first place, but anyway.
Dalton from Grand Haven. What age did you guys start playing instruments at? Did you take lessons or did it come naturally? I picked up a guitar at age 12 and just started playing. The first song that I played was Smoke on the Water. But I started taking lessons, and he would try to teach me songs, and I'd come in the next week like not learning the songs that he wanted me to learn, but making up my own riffs, and like I'd be like, yeah, I didn't learn that, but I made up this, you know, and he was like, yeah, you're not really cut out for lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I had a really good music teacher in public school that would just like, you know, if you were interested in learning an instrument or experimenting with any type of instrument, then he would allow you to just kind of run free in the music room. So I started on piano when I was really young, and I studied Royal Conservatory piano and stuff, and it just got to be a ton of pressure because it was always like, you know, exams, and it was a really structured system, the conservatory sort of classical piano system. So I had the opportunity to start banging away at the drums in that music room, and I figured, first of all, it was a lot more fun and less pressure than having to go take exams with these adjudicators, you know, in these really stiff rooms. So I kind of moved over to drums, and you know, I sucked at football. So I knew in grade 9 it wasn't going to be football for me. I needed to get a band going, you know what I mean? So grade 9 I just like found some guys and got the band going and went from there. And I quit football because I sucked, like I mentioned.
Jenna from Fredericton. What's the most difficult part of writing music? You know, it can be difficult and it can be easy. Sometimes, you know, a song can come so easily. It's like the song is done within the hour. And then sometimes the song just takes months and months, or like, you know, days and days. It's very strange the way music comes and goes, or you know, how you get your inspiration, or like how quickly the song is written. Mm-hmm. I guess a song is never done though. You could keep working on it.
Yeah, I think one of the most difficult parts is knowing when to take the brush off the canvas.
Yeah, when to stop.
Call it finished, you know. That's one of the biggest things for sure. Yeah. And then just, you know, we try to, you know, instead of writing like lyrics, we try to write conversations, you know. Like if I'm trying to say something to you and express myself to you, what words would I actually use if I was just talking to you? And that, you know, I think that makes for more direct, emotionally engaging music than something that's like so complex that you're the only person that understands it. So really sort of nailing that and writing something that's a listener hears and sees their own, and can hear their own life in that music, what you're talking about, is not necessarily it's not necessarily an easy thing to do, but as it, you know, it takes practice and really sort of, like I said, knowing when to just like call it finished is tough.
Maria from Kazan. Who's an up-and-coming band you would like to take on tour with you? I really like Nothing More. I'd like to see them live for sure.
Mm-hmm. There's a Canadian band called USS. They've been around for a little while. I've gotten to know those guys a little bit, and I really like them. They're different, you know, a little bit different style than us, but you know, we like.
That'd be awesome.
USS
is cool.
Yeah. Ryan from Mesa. How do you guys stick together through the ups and downs of band life? I mean, we're a family, you know. We've grown up together. You know, Matt is Brad, our bass player's younger brother, so we've all grown up since we were kids, basically. And you know, one of the major things is mutual respect and knowing that when you spend this much time with somebody, that you're going to see the best and the worst of them. And if you react to, like, when someone's having a bad day or don't give them space, a lot of the time we see it with other bands. That's like the demise of a lot of bands, you know. So really just kind of giving each other space and respect, and then keeping the lines of communication open. If you have a problem with somebody, like, just like addressing it and really sort of just being upfront about it, because as soon as communication breaks down in any sort of relationship, really, that's the beginning of the end. You start holding grudges and animosity and stuff like that. So we just lay everything out on the table, and we have like big fist fights once in a while. No, we don't do that. We think we have done
lay it on the line.
We lay it on the line, man.
Hank from Cincinnati. Do you each prefer recording an album or touring? What do you each prefer, I guess he's trying to say. I don't know. They're so different from each other. I like touring a lot and being in front of people and having that energy. But also creating music is a lot of fun, too, and putting layers on stuff and, you know, building something from nothing is a lot of fun, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's the fine balance of both, and especially making Human, the last record. It's like we kind of did both at the same time. We'd record for 3 weeks and then we'd go out on tour. And I mean, last year was crazy. We were making the album, but we also went to Russia and we went to Europe and stuff. But that was the cool thing about being able to go and record for a few weeks, go and do 4 or 5 songs, and then take them with us, jam them for sound check, and then kind of take a step away from them. And then when we went back to the studio, we had a pretty clear picture on what was right, what could be improved upon, that type of thing. So the back and forth was really cool. I don't think I'd want to have to do one thing for a prolonged period of time. It's the, you know, the variety is kind of what the cool thing is. Andrea from Edmonton. Are you planning any upcoming Canadian tour dates? We are, actually. We have a sizable Canadian tour in the works right now. We haven't released it or announced anything yet, but I can tell you that it's gonna be a good one. So we'll see you there in Edmonton, Andrea. Sophia from Brooklyn. How do you think your music has changed from the last album to Human? We really made as far as the music, we made a conscious effort to go back to our roots sonically, kind of what we did on the first album. We used the same producer that we used on the same album, and it's a little bit heavier and darker and a little more emotionally engaging. We really dug deep emotionally into our lives and into our psyche, and put a lot of those feelings onto the record. And obviously, you know, the last record we experimented a little more with some electronic kind of stuff, and this one we really kind of just wanted to go back to some of the sounds musically of the first 3 Days Grace album. And then you know, bringing Matt in, Matt just brings in this new energy as well, and I think that energy is really evident on Human, and there's really just a new energy born. It's kind of a new beginning, and you know, Matt brings a lot of fiery aggression, you know, in the performance and the songwriting of the album. And you know, songs like Painkiller and songs like Painkiller and I Am Machine, I think, are really good examples of just that new heavy energy that really translates live.
Anna from Moscow. What's your favorite song to perform live? Mine is Good Life, and I guess off the new record, So What. We're very similar, jumping songs. I like to see the crowd all jumping together and mosh pits and that kind of stuff. So,
Now, Moscow, Anna, that was an awesome show. If you were there, that was one of our favorites. There was another show in Russia that we couldn't play Good Life because this venue had never had a rock concert before, and the floor was literally looking like from the lower level, like it was going to cave in from the crowd jumping up and down. So these like emergency engineers came in and had to like cut us short because they thought that the ballroom underneath was going to cave in, and there was like 5,000 people there, and it would have been a real tragedy. Yeah. So, but that was a crazy time.
Nick from Benton asks, what band or artist would you guys like to work with that might surprise us? I know yours would probably be AWOL Nation, right?
I didn't know where you were going with that. Aqua? No. Yeah, I mean, you know, I dig Die Antwoord. They're kind of like, they're crazy. I mean, they're like, it's more electronic, but it's like got a real heavy edge to it and stuff. You know, I might be scared during the process to work with those guys, but they've done some pretty heavy stuff. Yeah, AWOL Nation is, I'm loving that new stuff. You know, they're really different.
I'd like to work with 9 Inch Nails, Trent Reznor. That'd be fun. Or the old Stabbing Westward dudes.
That's a great record, Stabbing Westward. Charles from Fort Nelson, what musicians inspired you growing up? For me, I can definitely put my finger on 2 in particular. When I was like 9 or 10, my brother, he would have been like 18 or something like that, and he was a big Led Zeppelin fan, and I just remember sort of just, you know, listening to what he was playing in his room, and there was something about the sound of the drums when he played Led Zeppelin that was different than anything else that he was playing, and you know, so I kind of really, I was attracted to that, and you know, realized that John Bonham was so unique and somehow was able to capture this drum sound and thunderous energy that no one else has ever been able to do. That was a major influence. And then, you know, Tool is pretty much my favorite band, and just Danny Carey's approach to the drums, I think, just was really inspiring to me. Mine was
Nirvana and probably Pearl Jam. Brad always played older music and like the grunge music, and I was always into it.
Matt from Memphis, how excited were you when Painkiller went #1 on the rock charts?
It was pretty awesome, you know. We wanted to get it out there to show the fans like what 3 Days Grace sound like with me singing, and you know, when it went #1, we couldn't have been happier. Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy just to, like, you know, it's really cool. We don't take that stuff for granted. We don't get too wrapped up in statistics and chart numbers and stuff, but to see it surface on that level out of the gates, and we were still on the road, and everyone knew the songs, and people went crazy. It was a pretty gratifying moment for us, and we're you know, really thankful for that kind of stuff. Rebecca from San Francisco, what do you want your fans' overall experience to be when listening to Human? I think we really set out to just tap into the human psyche of sort of what it's like to grow up in modern society when, you know, it's easy to sort of put the walls up and numb yourself to the world around you, and to lose touch with the natural world a little bit, and emotionally sort of be able to emotionally shut down. And you know, I think songs like I Am Machine talk about that. And I think that, you know, Human Race just talks about just, you know, how fast everything's moving, and maybe we're missing out on the essence of life a little bit when we focus so much on just the everyday, getting to where we have to go as fast as we possibly can. And you know, there's also a lot of just human struggle and emotion on this album that we draw from our personal lives, losing people close to us, you know, realizing that nothing lasts forever, and trying to just deal with those things. But they're things that everybody goes through, you know, and I think that that's a major connection that we have with 3 Days Grace fans, is that they know it's coming from a real place from us, and it becomes real to them because it's real life experiences that everybody goes through. And I think that that's a common thread through Human, and you know, so that's what I hope people take from it.
Val from Fort McMurray, what's your favorite city to stop in while touring in Canada or in America? My favorite city in Canada is Vancouver. I just think it's beautiful. I think it's the most beautiful city in Canada. I like Jacksonville, Florida, because the beach is there, and I remember pulling up in an old sweaty van back in the day, and we had no air conditioning. So when we got to to Jacksonville, we were right across from the ocean where the show was. So the first thing I did was bolt right into the ocean. I felt like God was cleaning me from sitting in this soily van for hours and hours on end.
My favorite city in Canada to play is Montreal. It's got kind of a European vibe to it. People are very uninhibited and really sort of celebrating music and stuff, and so it makes for a killer show. Everyone's freaking out. We actually played with Metallica there last summer, and it was like 45,000 people going bananas. It was really, really cool. In the U.S., I think I like Nashville a lot. I really like Nashville. It's, you know, it's Music City, but it's not really country centric anymore. Just some of the greatest musicians are there, and you can go any place and just see someone that'll blow your mind on guitar or whatever. And then, you know, it's a great place to watch a hockey game, and you know, it's really cool. It's pretty down home. There's a lot of history there, and it's all like, you know, revolving around music, and so it's just a good vibe.
Suzanne from Jeddah, who's the last off the tour bus in the morning? Boop.
Next question. Kyle from Prosper, does it get tough to keep playing the same songs over and over again each concert? I don't think it's tough. I mean, it's challenging on the body to just, you know, bang out 90-minute sets every night. I mean, that does take its toll on you. But as far as the same songs, I mean, like, every night's different. Every crowd is different. You know, everybody's sort of in a different headspace from night to night. So it doesn't get monotonous at all. And when people are singing like every word to every song that you play, and just like the energy is up. Every time we play I Hate Everything About You, people go crazy. We've been playing that song for 11 years, but you still get that same gut feeling every night, you know. I still get the butterflies, a little bit nervous before the show. I get the adrenaline jolt. And you kind of get addicted to those feelings, you know, every night. So that kind of, you just rely on that feeling, that in the pit of your stomach before the gun goes off, you know what I mean?
Evan from Denver, if you could hang out with one superhero / villain for a day, who would you choose and why? That's a good question. I think I'd hang out with the Punisher, because he's been through some shit. And he's looking to kick some ass.
I've been through some shit, and I'm looking to kick some ass too. But so if you want to hang out later. Jinx from La Crosse, if you weren't in music, what careers do you all think you would have? I think I'd have a criminal career. You know, see where that leads. No, I don't know. I think
Toll booth.
Toll booth?
Yeah, the 50s.
Derek from St. Catharines. How come you guys decided to take a slower kind of feel to the new album compared to others? I don't think we really made any decision to do that. I mean, we like slow and heavy songs. So, you know, if you actually listen to the first album, it's heavy, but it's kind of slow, and we kind of like that sort of, like, you know, Pantera sort of thing, like just really slow and brooding and heavy, and like we're big fans of Deftones and stuff, and a lot of their stuff is pretty down tempo, but like really heavy guitars and stuff, and you know, so we just you know, there's a dynamic through there that has a lot of different tempos on Human, but yeah, we kind of just like to kind of just have that you know, kind of head nod rockin' thing going, and that's kind of music that we listen to, so I think that just naturally happened. Just wanted to say thanks again for submitting your Ask Anything questions, and we had a blast on the show with Nikki Sixx and the Queen of Rock, Jen. So see you soon. Thanks a lot.